for me, all of the things that are happening in the world right now are flashbacks to what I've been through. I've gone through all of this. I've suffered through all of this. And so I know firsthand what lies ahead. And I want to give you all of the knowledge that I either did do and it worked, or didn't do and it didn't work, things I would change if I had to go back and do it all again, and things that I am so proud that we put into place. Hey there, and welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. If you're looking to get more sales, more customers, master your marketing, and ultimately take control of your retail or e-commerce business, then you're in the right place. I'm Selena Knight, a retail growth strategist and multi-award-winning store owner whose superpower is uncovering exactly what your business requires to move to the next level. I'll provide you with the strategies, the tools, and the insight you need to scale your store. All you need to do is take action. Ready to get started? Do you want to hear something funny? I've just realized when I posted one of my teaser videos on Instagram that I seem to own a lot of pink shirts, pink tank tops, pink outfits, pink shirts. Now, I know with my dresses, I have lots of navy colored dresses, like base of navy, because I've been packing all of my clothes for heading off to San Diego in like 2 days. In fact, by the time this goes live, I will already be there. But when I was posting the last couple of teaser videos, I've realized that I'm wearing a pink shirt in a pink top in nearly every single one. So clearly I need to go out and do a little bit of shopping, because even though it's not the same pink top, I clearly like wearing pink t-shirts. So it's a funny thing, because when I realized this last Friday, and then I thought, over the weekend, clearly I need to buy a few more shirts. So all of my emails that I was getting from all of the brands that I follow, I was really paying particular attention for people who were selling t-shirts or, blouses. Kind of t-shirts was what I was looking for. And nobody sent me anything. Do you ever get that when you are like determined to go shopping and spend money and you find nothing? Whereas when you aren't looking to buy anything, it feels like all the bargains are coming your way. So what I want you to take away from that is quite clearly, you can never know what your customer is thinking and feeling and what they're shopping for, because you wouldn't know that I was looking for shirts. So email marketing and just being out there, like being in my news feed, being in my Instagram feed, potentially in my Pinterest feed, but just being at least in my inbox, even if I might delete your emails like 9 times out of 10, the weekend that I go looking for t-shirts, if you happen to end up in my inbox selling me t-shirts, it's highly likely that I am going to buy with you or buy from you, buy with you, shop with you. So that was just a little bit of an aside, but it is actually the perfect segue into today's episode, which is all about how do you keep your customers shopping even if we end up heading into a recession. As I said, that was a great segue, but it's not the reason I started this episode. The reason I started this episode is because when I was flicking through my Apple News feed a couple of days ago, I saw that here in Australia, we're heading into La Niña for 3 years in a row. Yes, we've already had it for 2 years, and they're pretty much predicting another one for this year. Now, this is almost unheard of, but I swear it gave me PTSD and flashbacks to when I had my stores and it rained for 2 years. It pretty much non-stop rained from 2007 to 2009. In fact, that's probably like close to 3 years. When you combine that with the global financial crisis, the recession that we had from 2007 to 2009, bearing in mind I opened my business in 2007, opened my stores in 2008, it feels so long ago. And so I was really at that beginning stage, and it felt like everything was against me. I mean, let's just say those first few years between opening up in a recession, opening up with a range of products, we sold eco baby products, and eco was not a thing back in 2008, 2009. So recession, products no one knew about, and it rained. And if you have ever, if you've ever had a baby, you know that going out in the rain is not on the top of your list of to-do things. So we were on a high street, which meant there wasn't an awful lot of shelter. We weren't in a big shopping mall, which meant, of course, when it rains and it rains and it rains and it rains, most people go to the shopping malls because at least they can do all the things. So it was really difficult. And for many years after I sold my business, I remember my husband, like when it was raining, this is not me, this is my husband waking up going, it is so nice not to feel the stress of what are you going to do when it rains? Like obviously he was taking my stress and it was difficult because some days hardly anyone walked in the door. So right now, it feels like for me, all of the things that are happening in the world right now are flashbacks to what I've been through. I've gone through all of this. I've suffered through all of this. And so I know firsthand what lies ahead. And I want to give you all of the knowledge that I either did do and it worked or didn't do and it didn't work, things I would change if I had to go back and do it all again, and things that I am so proud that we put into place. Now, I don't want you to be the overwhelmed shopkeeper that I was, who was waking up at 3:00 in the morning, wondering if there were going to be enough people through the door or orders on the website. And let's be honest, enough money to pay the bills and even yourself, because that's where I was. That's why my husband still says to this day, 15 years later, oh my God, I love the fact that we don't have to stress now when it rains, because when revenue is down, you try and do all the things that you can to fix the problem, right? But if you're waking up at 3:00 in the morning, like I was, and that would be probably most mornings, I would wake up at 2 or 3:00, like stressing, panic attack, just hoping, like, what could I do to change it? And I'll be honest, there's nothing you can do at 2 or 3:00 in the morning to change it, right? So I want to give you some information that you can use to kind of counteract those panic attacks if they're happening to you, or if they're not happening to you, to just kind of give you some things that you can implement, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. I want to give you the knowledge and the tools that you need to make sure that you have a profitable business. I don't want you to have a job, a crappy job that doesn't allow you to take time off. I want you to have a thriving business that brings you money in, even if you're not there. Okay, so when revenue is down, and maybe you might find you do this too, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just me, I did what most overworked, underpaid shopkeepers do when they want to make more money. And that was, I focused all of my efforts on selling, which is a smart thing to do. But I ran store-wide sales. Like I would have ridiculous discounts. I posted on social media constantly. And back then, our social media posts got a lot more traction than they do these days. I letterbox dropped and put flyers in all the local, I would literally get to work early and put flyers in letterboxes around the shop. And there woended be days when sometimes a handful of people would come through the door. Sometimes there would be days where no one would come through the door. Even if the people did come in, I ended up giving people discounts, even though they were quite prepared to pay full price. And I mean, looking back, there is something I regret, because it completely devalues the customer experience. Like they're coming in to buy something and you're like, I actually don't believe in my products enough to give this to you for full price. I have to discount it, even if you didn't ask for it. That was a silly thing to do. But I'm pretty sure that customers could smell the desperation coming off me. When times were tough, I was stressed out. I worked way too many hours because I thought more hours in equaled more hours out. And quite honestly, I felt like a failure. But that is not the place to grow a business from, which I can see now. Again, another big regret. I have not counted all of the regrets and things that I wished I would do more. So you can keep count for me. Maybe you can let me know. So big regret was thinking that if I worked more, I would make more money, which honestly is the complete opposite, because I would stay at the shop just trying to think of things to do and doing stuff that actually wasn't moving the needle forward. So because I was putting more hours in, I felt like I had to earn more money. And then I was giving these discounts to people Or people would come in and I'd like pounce on them or the team would pounce on them because they had targets to meet, and nobody wants that. But that is not a good place to come from when it comes to sales. Sales is about meeting your customer on a journey and helping them to get to where they want to go in the best way that works for them. Not, holy crap, I can't pay my bills. I really want to sell something to you. So like I said, learn from my experiences, skip over all the crappy stuff. Okay. Now, when it comes to getting customers to keep shopping, I told you at the beginning that one of the simple things was just to be, front of mind. But let's just quickly, if you're just listening to this for the first time, let me just quickly go over the 5 pillars of retail success. First of all, there's money, and that is understanding how money comes into, moves around, and goes out of your business. Then we have sales, which is the making of the money. We've got customers, and inside of that, there is finding them, attracting them, catching them, connecting with them, converting them, and keeping them. Lots of things inside the sales pillar. Marketing, which is telling the world that you exist and getting people to want what you sell. And then we have impact, which is building more than just a store. That involves building a brand. It involves you as a leader, all that stuff that takes you to the next level. And at any one time, one of those pillars is going to be the pillar that you're probably a little bit crappy at, right? And if you focus your attention on that pillar just for 90 days, the results that you see can give you exponential growth. And sometimes the problems that you've got just disappear because you fixed the source of the problem, not just treating the symptom. So I thought I had a sales problem. Remember, I told you I focused on selling. I thought I had a sales problem. Now that I have the smarts to look back, and now that I've identified my 5 core pillars of retail success, I didn't have a sales problem. Because once I got them in the door, we had an 80% conversion rate. But even an 80% conversion rate sucks if you only have 2 people coming in a day, or 3 or 5 people coming in a day. That's like 1 or 2 sales. That is not enough to keep the doors open. I didn't have a sales problem. Even my website was converting quite well. It was converting at 3%, which back in the day, it's good now, but back in the day, it was even better then. But if you only have 100 people to your website, that's only 3 sales a day. So 5 sales a day doesn't keep the doors open. Didn't have a sales problem. What I had was a customer problem. I didn't have enough people coming in the door. I had the sales, I had the conversion rates. I didn't have enough people coming to the website, and I didn't have enough people coming into the store. Now, because I relied on the bulk of our money back then came from our physical store, because I relied on that local footfall, my customer acquisition tended to be all or nothing. So often and the nothing came when I was in desperate times. My customer retention was really good. Our repeat business number was ridiculously high when I actually did something about it. Okay. But because everything was so ad hoc, so were my results. So I would focus on customer acquisition when I didn't have any customers, instead of focusing on getting the customers I already had to come back into the store. Remember, this is right at the beginning. I've got a lot of years of experience now, and I can see all of the stupid mistakes that I made. Even though I had a business degree, no one taught me this stuff. I had to learn it for myself. So now I'm teaching it to you. All right. So I had a customer problem. I did not have consistent customer acquisition. I wasn't constantly making sure that I had new people coming to the website and new people coming into the store. But then I also wasn't great at customer retention back in the day when I first started out. Because, in my defense, a lot of the things that we went on to implement, which I'm going to tell you about, were not plug and play systems. It relied a lot on manual labor. So all the things that you now can do inside of your CRM, inside of Klaviyo, or sometimes even inside of Shopify or WooCommerce, that didn't exist. So if we wanted to send a welcome sequence to somebody, we would physically have to go and send those emails. Every day we'd have to send the emails. And it makes me sound so old. Trust me. This is why I love email marketing and CRMs so much these days, because I've been there when this was not an automated thing. And if you are not utilizing the things that you've got, then that's just like a no-brainer it's just a fast track to failing, but it's a no-brainer to increase your customers and customer retention and increasing your customer experience. So when it came to my website, which I invested a lot of time and money and energy into crafting a great user experience, I remember spending something like $1,000 when I realized that the majority of our people were coming in from mobile. Now, this was before responsive websites. So we actually paid someone $1,000 to build us out a really basic mobile website, because we could see that the customers were coming, the majority of people who were coming from that channel. And this is why it's really important to, spend the time, be the CEO of your business and look at the numbers, look at what's happening. But even as I said, with a solid 3% conversion rate, if you've only got 100 visitors a day, that's 3 orders. And that is not enough to survive on. So focusing on existing customers, especially when potentially we're teetering on the edge of a recession, is going to be your quickest, cheapest, and highest ROI strategy. Right. Customers, customers, customers. Right now, customers are your focus. Well, I don't know if we're going to have a recession. I feel like maybe it's going to be a short recession, but I'm not an economist and I can't give you financial advice. But I feel like if we do hit this recession, it is clear money is going to tighten, like wallets are going to tighten, but it doesn't mean there aren't people still spending. I was still prepared to go out there and buy shirts on the weekend if they arrived. I paid for express shipping to get some new shoes to arrive before I head off to the US. There is still money out there. So let's focus on the customers you've already got and let's use your money wisely. If you're taking notes or if you're just listening, listen now. Stop tuning out. Listen to this, what I'm about to say next, because this is the most important part of this episode. Your core goal for till the end of the year at least has to be reducing your churn rate or preventing churn if you can prevent churn. Now, churn means you're losing your customers. Okay, it's a marketing word, it's a sales word, it's a business word, but churn is the number of customers who don't buy from you ever again. Your core goal right now is to prevent or reduce churn. The great thing about this is it often costs very little or nothing at all. You just have to implement a few strategies, and I'm going to give them to you now. So the first thing you have to do is you have to give your customers a reason to come back. You have to have some way of saying to them, we've got stuff for you that you might like to buy. So that means you have to communicate with them, and it means you've got to have fresh stuff coming in. But there's a good chance that right now, money might be a little bit tight for you. We've got Christmas coming up and all those Christmas orders you have to pay for. We've got people tightening their belts, so maybe you've already ordered in and there's stuff sitting on the shelves. You have to get rid of that old stock. Right? You probably hear me harp on about this all the time. You know I've got my masterclass, selinaknight.com/stock. If you want to get access to it, you have to get rid of it to turn that money into stuff that you can sell and sell fast. You are no longer in a position to be holding on to this stuff. Your customers aren't going to buy it. I didn't actually mean it in the terms of buying it as in giving you money, but your customers aren't going to buy it because they haven't bought it, but they're also not going to buy into your store or your brand if nothing is changing. Right? So one of the easiest ways to prevent or reduce churn is simply giving them a reason to come back, telling them that you're out there and here's some stuff you might like to buy. Even if that stuff is sales stock, you've got to get rid of that old stock. If you need help with that, go and check out the masterclass, selinaknight.com/stock. You can read all about it over there. The best way to get your customers to come back is to create, this is point number 2. I don't know what, I haven't been counting. This is a last minute episode because the episode that we had planned didn't quite work. We had an issue last week with our video. This one, our guest didn't turn up. Yeah, it's all up in the air. I haven't counted numbers. I got a couple of days before I have to fly out and I got a ton of things I have to get done. So you keep track of the numbers. Doesn't really matter. Reduce churn. Give people a reason to come back. The next one, create offers that are value-based. Yes, you heard me right. Create offers that are value-based. Now, value doesn't necessarily mean discounting. In fact, discounting is generally not a value that your customers, what's the word I'm looking for? Value? They value value, right? They want to know that they're getting something that is going to make them happy. It's going to create a sense of fulfillment, like, getting my shoes before I go to America is going to make me happy because I'm going to look good and my feet are going to be comfortable. What I value is the fact that I had the opportunity to buy express shipping. What I didn't value was the fact that they then sent me an email saying it might take 2 to 4 days for them to ship it out because they're very busy. That, not what I value. So what does your customer value? What are some things that you can potentially bundle up? And this may mean collaborating. It may mean looking at your team. It may mean looking at competitors or people in different industry to see what they give to their customers to get them to keep shopping. It probably means you're going to reach out to suppliers or use the knowledge that you've got in-house. So if you are great at styling, then maybe you offer a chance for people to go in the drawer to be styled by you. If that is something that your clients value and they know that you're great at it, offer that. If you are really good at decorating, if you own a homewares shop and you've got an eye for that stuff, you could give the first 5 people who spend more than $500 a virtual VIP styling decorating session. Right? You started this business because you're good at something. Leverage that something. Turn it into an offer that your competitors don't have because they're not you or they're not your team. I used to have a great person in my team who was amazing at styling. And so I could have offered her styling services, and that doesn't have to be in person. It can be a virtual thing. But think about your customers' problems. Think about why they shop with you and think about what is going to give them that status and prestige and how can you leverage that? Speaking of leveraging, I love to leverage 2 core groups of your customers. The first one, obviously, your VIPs. And when I say VIPs, I mean the true VIPs, the ones who drop hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with you, who shop with you over and over again, who constantly tagging you on social media. What are you doing to keep those people happy? Because quite often you're giving discounts to people who've never bought from you. What are you doing for your VIPs? Remember, the best way to reduce churn is to give them a reason to come back and to create offers that are value-based. So what do your VIPs value? And I gave you a couple of examples just before. Maybe it is an after hours. We used to hold after hours shopping nights. So for our VIP customers, they could bring in 5 friends. We did some collaborations with like the local hairdresser. And we did lots of different ones, but we did a hairdresser and a caterer. And the hairdresser came in and did some little sessions on, how to zhuzh your hair up. And the caterer came in and did like 5 canapes that you can make with stuff in your cupboard. Like little things like that cost me nothing. But what happened is my VIP came in. She didn't have her kids. She had her friends. They had a few glasses of wine. Ka-ching! They valued being able to take time away from new babies. They valued being able to hang out with their friends and not have people like, mom. That's what they valued. And they loved shopping. They loved treating themselves. They loved treating their families. So what is an offer that's value-based that has a really high perceived value? Something like one of those shopping nights. Or maybe it is something like the virtual styling session, but offer it only to your VIPs to get them to come back and spend more. The other group I love to leverage, and I swear I'm probably the only person who says this, is your discount hunters. I know I always say don't discount, but at some point you have stock you need to move, which means you're probably going to have to, at some point, put some kind of discount in place. Right? There will always be stuff that doesn't go. If you want it to go quick, you have to market it to the discount hunters. So what do they value? Now, clearly they value a discount, but what other things do they value? Those discount hunters are generally very high aspirational customers. They really want to be involved in your brand. They just don't have the money to do it all the time. So what things could you include to get them to come back and to create an offer that's value-based? It could be something as simple as if they spend X amount of dollars, they get a gift with purchase. Right? That's going to get rid of your stuff. It's going to keep them happy. And when you segment those two groups out and you send different offers to them, that is when you get leverage, because your average customer shouldn't be getting the VIP treatment. And your VIP customers don't care about sales. They're the trendsetters. They want to be ahead of the curve. Filling up their inbox with sales stuff is just annoying the crap out of them. So this is where you have to know your customer journey and you have to know who those customers are and where they're at. You've got to give them the offers that are value-based and meet them where they're at. Next up is, and I kind of alluded to this right at the beginning, is really understanding a few key metrics. And one of those is your customer lifetime value. How much is a customer worth to you throughout the whole time that they spend? Now, for us, we only had a customer life cycle of around 2 to 3 years. And that's because we sold baby products. And so when your baby turned 2, we no longer had anything to sell to you. That's okay. It doesn't mean we had to go and add more stuff. It just means we had to understand what that customer life cycle looked like. And unless you had another baby or a friend had a baby, like there was kind of no reason for you to keep coming back. When you know that, you then know how to monetize that group of people in the best way possible. But it also allows you to know how much the average person should be spending. So what is your customer lifetime value? The great thing is, if you're using an email marketing program like Klaviyo, it's one of the reasons we love Klaviyo, is you can see that information. Your Shopify and hopefully your other e-commerce dashboards are probably going to tell you that as well. And I mentioned right at the beginning that you need to prevent or reduce churn. The other reason I love Klaviyo is it tells you when a customer is likely to churn so that you can put all this stuff that I'm telling you into an automated flow so that if they do, you don't lose them. If they are thinking of shopping somewhere else, you are there. You are in their inbox. You're giving them an offer that is value-based. So you have to know your customer lifetime value so that you know how much discounts, how much money you can put into keeping that customer to shop, which means you have to segment your database. You have to know where these people are at in their customer journey. All right, so what do we have? Reduce churn, give them a reason to come back, get rid of the old stock, create offers that are value-based, leverage your VIPs, leverage your discount hunting customers, know those key metrics like churn rate, customer lifetime value, segmenting your database. The other thing is, and this kind of ties back to creating offers that are value-based, is if you have a loyalty program, it's got to mean something. It's got to be value-based. If your VIP program looks way less VIP and is more just an expense on your balance sheet because all you're doing is giving a discount, well, that isn't serving anyone. That single-tier discount-based option based on points, it's not leveraging anything other than taking the pure profit out of your pocket. So if that's what you've got right now, I will say that you're missing out on a lot of brand loyalty. You're losing out on a lot of money. And realistically, to me, all that does is encourage those price-conscious bargain hunting customers, which have a place in your business, but they shouldn't be the key customer in your business. When you strip out your loyalty program and rebuild it into a program that customers actually value, and you have different tiers so that customers can move up the chain and get better value as they become better customers, that can be the key to higher profits, higher customer lifetime value, and higher brand loyalty. So I've got to ask you then, why do so many retailers just give monetary discounts which are eating into their bottom line? Getting customers is hard and it's expensive, but keeping customers is so much easier and it is way cheaper. But quite often, it's forgotten about. I have 3 great brands that I go to when I look at great loyalty programs. So one is Princess Polly. Love, love, love. Like, to me, their rewards program, their loyalty program is the top. That's what you should measure yours off against. Okay, when you go and look at Princess Polly, they're probably not your core demographic. It's all aimed at the Gen Zers, but just look at what they think their customers value. And it's not even think. They actually get on their phones and they call their customers and they ask what they value. What would you like to see? What would you like to get as a reward? That is great. The other one is a company called Supergoop, and they do sunscreen. And I love theirs. Like, one of their key rewards is getting into a conversation with the founder. She does, I think it's a group call once a month where you can come on and ask questions. I mean, that's freaking brilliant. It costs like nothing. It costs a little bit of time, but it builds that brand loyalty. And then it just goes up from there. And the other one is, it's a like Japanese snack food. I'm going to say it's called something like kaboshu. I've probably seriously screwed that up. I will find it and stick it into the show notes. But again, they build these experiences for their customers that are simple things like, not simple, but they're very high value, like these virtual tours on different sections of the snack industry in the area, like snack shops in the area, or like just go, as I said, I'll put the link in the show notes, go and have a look. But their rewards programs are all about the experience, and that experience costs them virtually nothing. And this is the whole point, is what I'm trying to say is, if you're just giving away your money, then all you're doing is eating into your bottom line. How about we give what your customers value? Give them some kind of experience which may not cost you a thing. What comes back to you will come back tenfold or 100-fold, because customers really want to be part of that. Have a loyalty program that your customers actually want, not a loyalty program that you just put in place in your Shopify or your POS and it's a discount and that's because it was easy. Stop thinking the easiest, sloppiest way of doing things and start thinking about your customers, because that is what's going to keep them coming back. It is so much cheaper to keep your customer than it is to try and find a new customer, to get them to your website, to get them into the store, to get them to trust you, to get them to hand over their money, and to get them to keep coming back. Sure, you've got to be doing it. But if you are feeling financially strained, or if you need a quick injection of cash, or you just want to build a brand and be more than just that shop, then this is what you have to do. Whether we head into a recession or not, all of these things that I've given you are going to build your business. So even if you just take one of those things and you implemented it, what do you think you would do for your business? If you implemented an offer for your VIPs, maybe that offer is a virtual styling session. Let's go with that. How many more sales do you think you're going to make? Might not cost you anything. It's going to cost you an hour of your time. But if you sent that offer out to your customers, maybe you even pick up the phone and do it over the phone, or you reach out to them on Messenger and say, hey, to reward you for being such a great customer, we're going to give you this chance to get this offer. We're going to give you a chance to hang out with our founder and get a virtual styling session if you purchase more than $500 this week. There's always got to have the time frame on it, right? Don't forget that part. I like 24, 48 hours. Maybe you might have to stretch it out to a week. How many thousands of dollars would something like that bring into your business versus the hours that you're spending uploading products to your website, or the hours that you're playing on Canva because you don't want to face up to being the CEO of your business? This is why I am so passionate about you working less hours. Remember, I said right back at the beginning, I would sit in my bloody shop and I would just sit there because I figured more hours meant more money. I call BS because I know better now. Sometimes less hours is going to get you more money. Half an hour to send out an email or to reach out to a couple of key customers to offer an offer like this, a value-based offer, could net you tens of thousands of dollars. So why is it that as business owners, you're more worried about putting in more hours or playing on Canva or posting things to your website than you are about keeping your customers happy and keeping them coming back and keeping the money flowing in. And I think that is the perfect place for us to wrap up this episode. I would love it if you've listened to get you to share. If you found this valuable, go and share it with another retailer, because at the end of the day, there is room for all of us. But I would also love it if you could let me know if you implement any of this stuff. Because sometimes as a podcast host, I only have connection with the people who I have the connection with. If you're in our group or if you're one of my clients or if you've bought one of our programs, then I have connection with you. But for everybody else, I would love to know if you implement this and what the results are. Because if I can get you to make more money, then I can get you to a point where maybe you will want to hang out with us and you will want to buy some of our programs or you will want to be part of our community. And then that means that you're going to be growing and you're going to be serving more customers and making more money and making this world a better place. So I'm finishing up. I want you to share this episode if you found it helpful. And also, if you put one of these things into place, give yourself a deadline by the end of the week and let me know what were the results that you got. All right, I need to go and pack my bags. I have not done that yet. I've laid everything out all over the floor. I need to go and pack those things to a bag so that I can be ready to go over to San Diego in just a couple of days. All righty, I will see you right back here, same time, same place, next week. Bye. So that's a wrap. I'd love to hear what insight you've gotten from this episode and how you're going to put it into action. If you're a social kind of person, follow me at @TheSelenaKnight and make sure to leave a comment and let me know. And if this episode made you think a little bit differently or gave you some inspiration or perhaps gave you the kick that you needed to take action, then please take a couple of minutes to leave me a review on your platform of choice. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more independent retail and e-commerce stores just like yours that we can help to scale. And when that happens, it's a win for you, a win for your community, and a win for your customers. I'll see you on the next episode.